In this video, let's keep improving the user experience of our blog application by defining the scroll behavior on route navigation. First, let me create a new Git branch from the previous branch. Git branch, view router, scroll behavior. Git switch, view router, scroll behavior. Please note that we're now on branch view router scroll behavior. First, let's add more blog posts to the blog post list. Let's go to db.json. Right now, there are 10 blog posts. Let's add 10 more. You can find a link to this db.json file in the description of this video. The reason I add 10 more blog posts is that you can see a scroll bar. Let me show you. So first, let's start the application. npx json server db.json. So the JSON server is serving the data. Then let's start the application. npm run dev. All right. So let's go to blog posts. As you can see now, there is this scroll bar right here. Because there are 20 blog posts here. In this video, let's talk about how to define the behavior of this scroll bar. So first, let's go to the very last blog, the Wizarding World's Holidays and Traditions. It asks me to log in. Fine. John, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's try again. Let me scroll down and click this blog. So as you can see, the blog is changed. You saw the transition animation, right? But we still need to scroll all the way up to see the content because the blog post we clicked is at the bottom of the page. This is not very user-friendly. So when a new blog is clicked, we would like the page to automatically scroll up to the top or to a specific location in this page. And of course, with a smooth scrolling behavior. So let's implement that. Let's go back to VS Code. Let's open the router configuration. Scroll all the way up. When creating the router instance, we can optionally provide a scroll behavior function. And here is how I define the behavior of the scroll. For example, this is good. Always scroll to the top when navigating to a new page. Return top is equal to 0. Let's test. And first, let's log in. Okay, so scroll all the way down. And then I'm going to click the very last blog post. Okay, as you can see, it scrolls to the top. How about smooth scrolling to the top? So let's go to VS Code. And here, let's add another option, behavior smooth. Okay, let's test again. So let's scroll down. And for example, let's click this one, the dark arts. Okay, perfect. Let's test again. Excellent. Now, here is another requirement. Let's click the last blog post. Okay, and I'm reading this. from Christmas at Hogwarts, and so on and so forth. And then I scroll down. All right, remember this location explores how wizards and witches mark holidays. Now I want to click a different blog. For example, this one, Lessons from Albus Dumbledore. So when I click it, no surprise, it scrolls to the top, and I can read this, Lessons from Albus Dumbledore, here and so on and so forth. Okay, now what if I want to go back to the previous blog post? Okay, that's easy. We can just click this back button. So let's click. So what happened here is View Router forgets where I was in this previous blog. I was here before I clicked new blog post, right? So ideally, when I click the back button, I should be brought to this position. Can we do that in View Router? Sure. Look at the third argument of this function, saved position. This saved position can help us go back to where I was in the previous blog post. So here's how we do that. Return saved position. So if this exists, scroll to saved position. Otherwise, scroll to the top. So apparently, I should update this comment. If the user clicked the back button or forward button, scroll to the saved position. Otherwise, just scroll to the top. Let's test. Okay, so same thing. Let's go to the wizard. And let's stop here. Explores how wizards and witches mark holidays. Then let's go to Lessons from Albus Dumbledore. So as you can see, this one does not have a saved position. So it goes to the top, no problem. And let's stop at here. Legacy is a reminder that even the greatest wizards are human. Okay, then let's click the back button. Good. We got back to the previous blog, and this is where I was before navigating away from this blog post. So I can continue to read this very long blog post. Well, in this case, it's pretty short, but imagine this is a very long blog. Let's also test the forward. All right, recall that this is where I was in this blog. Legacy is a reminder that even the greatest wizards are human. Very good. Here is another requirement. This time, I would like to scroll to a specific location. For example, instead of scrolling all the way to the top, I would like View Router to scroll to here. Not showing the navigation. Can we ask View Router to scroll to a specific location? Sure. We can pass a CSS selector or a DOM element via an option called EL. Let me show you. First, let's review the blog posts view. So I would like View Router to scroll to this div, whose class is blog posts layout. Okay, let's go to index.js, and here, let me break it. Instead of scrolling all the way to top, here let's use an option called EL. And let's copy this class name and paste it here. As you can see, this is a CSS selector. View Router will search an HTML element whose class is equal to blog posts layout and scroll there. Well, in this scenario, this top will be treated as relative offsets to that element. In this case, this means just scroll to this element, and behavior is smooth. Okay, let's try it out. All right. Let's go to this post. This is perfect. We no longer see the navigation bar. Cool. Well, now let me press F12. And let's click something else. Home. Or about. Okay. So as you can see, we got a problem here. Couldn't find element using selector .block post layout returned by scroll behavior. This is because in about or in home, there's no element with this selector. Let's fix this small problem. So instead of hard coding it here, let me cut this and then go to the /block posts ID right here. And let's add another meta field. And let's call this scroll to element. Paste. Okay. And then let's go back here to the scroll behavior. So for the value of EL, let's use to.meta.scroll to element. So this is the from page and this is the to page. If the to page meta has scroll to element, then scroll to this element. Then what if the to.meta doesn't have scroll to element? Let's refactor this. So first, let me define a JS object called scroll behavior options. Top by default is 0. Behavior is smooth. Okay. Then here, if to.meta.scroll to element is defined, scroll behavior option .el, let's add the EL option. And this is equal to to.meta.scroll to element. Okay, so let me put some comments here. And here, let me delete this. Return saved position if it exists. Otherwise, and here let me add some comments. If the route has a saved position, return it. Otherwise, return the scroll behavior options. Okay, let's test. Okay, as you can see, there's no error here. John. It's good. This is good. All right. And let's test the saved position. Very good. All right, we're done. Let me push the branch to GitHub. Git commit scroll behavior. Git push. In the next video, we will optimize the page load time through lazy loading routes. See you there.